16, 17, I was involved in a car accident. You look at photos of the car and it's just completely crushed. And the doctor said that I was lucky to be alive. I don't even know what happened, mate. Just very, very dark. Didn't even want to be here at times. Now this was 4 months before getting a call for Gladiators.
People who've competed and been at that level of leanness and had to diet right down, when you get to that point, is it a bit of a you to those people in school where you want to look insane?
Jamie at the time was the tallest pro in the world, 6'5", and I was 6'6". I want to be the tallest in the world.
What were your biggest worries?
No one knows that's watching this apart from me and my parents, because I was so scared to tell my friends.
So today we are joined by Gladiator, Bionic and Matty Campbell.
Still sounds weird. I'm not fully used to it yet, mate.
How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you? Finally.
Unbelievable, mate. Now, I know we did a bit of content together and stuff,
yeah.
And getting to know you, obviously, in the gym and seeing you around. I mean, to be fair, how tall are you, mate?
6'6".
6'6". So
yeah.
when you instantly see a 6'6" bloke, they stand out. So that was one thing. Obviously, where you've ended up in your life now is completely mad at 27-year-old, mate.
Mind blowing.
What I want to do is, before people have probably seen the title or the thumbnail and probably know where this podcast is going to lead. But first and foremost, before you've ended up as a gladiator, mate, you're a lad from the northeast like myself. What did your upbringing look like?
Mate, I was a very regular kid. I was, say, northeast born and bred. Grew up in Stokesley. Have you heard of Stokesley?
I've never even heard of Stokesley.
It's like Greta, and you must have heard of Greta.
Yeah.
It's literally 10 minutes from there. So, as I say, middle upper class family, great parents, always supported me fully. And I got sent I was at a private school at first, Yarm School. Mm-hmm. And I was there until I was about year 2, I think. And my mum moved me from Yarm to Stokesley because she didn't think the teachers were giving me the effort that they were giving the smarter kids. Now I realised very early that academically I wasn't up to standard of other people. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that from such an early age as well. But my parents were like, no, you're fine. But I knew from even that early age that I wasn't where I probably should be, but I never thought I got the support from the teachers either. So from very early on, I was into Stokesley School, which is your regular northeast school, sort of say, a mix of all sorts of people. Just a regular kid, loved football, loved video games like PlayStation and stuff. I still do now.
Did you feel that as a kid, Matty, when you were in school and you didn't feel like you were up to their level? Because I remember, and it's funny you mention that, because I remember when I was younger, and I suppose a lot of people are going to feel like this to a degree, but I remember I would hate it if I got picked to read.
Yeah.
Fuck me, that was literally I wanted to run out the door.
That's is scarier than everything I've done in the last year.
Really?
being picked to read at school, yeah. Especially when you don't know the answer as well. That it's the worst thing in the world, and you sat in the corner trying to dip your head down to make sure you don't get picked. But there's one that really sticks out to me, and the teacher knew I didn't know the answer. Convinced of it, but I always struggled academically, big style. So I did heavily rely on sport.
So what did you think did this, this sort of feeling like you weren't as good as the rest of the class, or you were certainly behind in class?
Yeah.
Is this something that lasted kind of throughout your school days, or was it just a very young age?
It was throughout school. Was it? I was bottom set most things, apart from English. Really, really struggled. And I moved to Australia when I was about 10 years old, and I got sent to one of the most private schools in the country. Totally different from what I was used to, and I had to sit an exam before I started, and they actually put me in the year below.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. And that, no one knows that's watching this apart from me and my parents, because I was so scared to tell my friends back in England.
What did you go to Australia for, though?
So mum's partner. So
right, okay.
My parents split up when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I think, and my mum met a new guy, obviously went well, and just came home from school one day, and she sat me down and went, do you want to move to Australia? And as a 10-year-old kid, you're like, yes. You think that's just a permanent holiday, right? Something like that. So, I moved there at a very early age. It was a massive change as well. But this guy, he was a millionaire. So, I had a very regular lifestyle in England, but it was a whole new world for me.
When you said there, about when you moved to Australia, and you were like, if someone asked when you're 10-year-old, you'd say, like me, I would have said no. I wouldn't want to move away from my friends or anything at 10. Like, that would have been me actual... Mate, do you know what? I remember. I remember when we moved up the road, mate, and I felt like it was going to be miles away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do understand that to a point, because later on in life I moved 10 minutes away from where I was and I was gutted. So I do understand that, but with this, like, I was sold with it straight away. And I look back now and I should have considered my family a lot more, but I'm a 10-year-old kid. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's it. Do you think you fit in more there than what you did here?
So it's in a way, it's a strange one, mate. So yeah, I was not. I didn't stand out in primary school. I was just a regular, love my football, everything like that. Total regular kid. And when I went over there, the adjustment, because of how different they are to, Northeast England. Like it's like, people, we look at Americans sometimes and they're obviously very different people. It was kind of like that over there, and I really struggled to fit in at first. The thing that I did end up probably one of the most popular kids in my year there,
right?
Because of sport. I dominated everything.
Did you really?
Dominated, yeah.
Were you tall as a 10-year-old?
No, I was never the tallest in school. Yeah, for a 10-year-old I was tall, but there was people taller than me, especially in primary and stuff, yeah. But probably 15, 16, a massive growth spurt and ended up the height I am now, which has obviously helped what I'm doing now.
So when did you move back, mate, from Australia?
Ooh. I think, it was towards the end of year 10. How old are you in year 10? 14?
14, 15.
14, yeah, towards the end of year 10. Now, this is where the struggle happened. So I went back to the same school I left.
Right.
In year 6. Now, I used to come back to England when I was in Australia. I used to come back to England twice a year, summer and Christmas. So I did see some of these people again throughout the years when I was coming back from Australia and stuff. But especially the lifestyle I was living and the private school, there was no like roughness and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It was everyone was. I don't even need to say it.
How did you feel? Did you feel like you missed Australia, or did you feel like England was a bit of a shithole? Like,
no, because I knew where I came from.
Yeah, that's
so. I was going back to the same place, so I knew exactly what to expect, sort of thing. And social media was coming through in them days as well, so you could like Instagram was just coming through, I think, at that time. So I knew what everyone looked like, and I knew the place, and it was home. But the struggle was I'd changed so much as a person that I just could not fit in properly when I got back. That was a massive struggle when I got back from like year 10 onwards.
Was because you mentioned, Matty, you dominated sport and stuff, which is it's every child's dream when you're a kid, because that is ultimately how you're going to fit in. If you're good at sport, people want to be on your team.
That's what saved it.
You're the popular kid. Yeah. So when you came back, was it a particular sport, or was it just the fact that you sheer size you dominated, or was it your skill in a particular area?
So when I was there, it was like we had like inter-house sport things, like like your typical sports day.
Yeah.
Like as a 10, 11-year-old kid, I would win everything. I was going for school records, and the school had been there for 50 odd years. Yeah, I remember, because the Australians aren't the best at football, are they? Sorry if anyone's watching from Australia. So my first day, I had no idea that there was a school football game on, so I went along. And we were 2-0 down with 2 minutes to go. And I was watching the game and the standards compared to, England, North East, where like everyone loves football and plays it and stuff. I was begging the coach at the time. I was like, just please put me on. So I borrowed some kids' shin pads, went on, scored 2 with 2 minutes and drew. And then from there, I just became one of the most popular kids. Sort of thing.
Is that something you continued when you came back to England, the football?
No, 'cause the levels were so different to Australia, so different. But yeah, I played when I got back. I actually did quit for a bit when I was in Australia. I moved to basketball. Funnily enough, height. Yeah. So I got into that and I really enjoyed it, and that did take over footy in the end. So I did stop football for about 2 years, but as soon as I came back to England, I was straight back in playing again. So yeah, I started off. I played up front.
What did you want to do though? Like, was football something you wanted to do?
At the time when I got back, no. Loved playing it. I played for maybe a year and a half, and we had this game, and I think it was only in the 3rd division team, Sunday League, and we played a team called Borough Rangers. And I think our keeper got injured in the warm-up or something. I can't remember quite what happened. And the manager just looked at the tallest one and went, get in goal. We got beat 8-0.
Shut up, man.
And their manager was a scout for Middlesbrough. And we got battered that hard. I still made that many saves. I heard a day later from someone that played for the opposite team that I knew went to my school. He went, I think you're going to get a trial for Middlesbrough. I was like, what? I just got beat 8-0. But I think I must have saved 25, 30 shots.
Yeah,
still.
that's it. So if only you had a better team in a way, like...
Yeah, I'd never played in goal before, mate.
Yeah.
It was nuts. Never played in goal before, and I didn't even get in my school team ever. Never got in my school team, which is mad, considering some of the levels I did end up playing at. So I got that call maybe 5 days later saying, do you want to come to Middlesbrough? And me as a massive Borough fan.
Was this to play in goal and all?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, mate.
Yeah. I'd never played in goal.
Mad, that, innit?
No, do you know what I did as a 6-year-old? 6, 7-year-old.
But never really anything proper.
No, I hadn't done it for the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, of course.
As a 6-year-old, it's not proper, is it? So, yeah, so me, I had a season ticket holder at Middlesbrough, like, massive Borough fan. So for me doing that at 14 years old, and no one in my school believed me. They were like, nah, you're lying. Because I didn't play for the school team or anything like that.
Yeah, that's it.
And obviously, playing in goal for one game, I think that's what... You're not going to believe it, are you?
No, well, especially the fact that you've been to the other side of the world, mate. It's almost like you've went missing for 5 years, come back, and now you're getting all these opportunities.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and kids are jealous as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, the school I was in, there was a lot of good footballers as well. Like, some were already at academy level.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, I got tucked into Middlesbrough as a 14-year-old kid. Never really played in goal before. And half an hour later, I'm training with the first team keepers.
Fucking hell, mate.
Yeah, it was... I was just like, these are people like I was fanboying off. Do you know what I mean?
Can I ask, when you came back to the UK and you had these trials for Middlesbrough and the rest of it, did you still have that nice lifestyle that you had in Australia?
So we when we came back, I lived with my gran for a little bit.
Right, okay.
Me and my man lived with my gran until she got a house and stuff like that. And we sort of, it was like a bit of a reset kind of thing. So it was obviously the total opposite to the lifestyle I was living, like living in a house with a lift. You know, and it was not like, and it sort of gives you a false perspective.
Did they actually split up? Like, is that why?
Yes, mate,
right, okay.
Yeah. So I came out of school one day. At this point, was really getting used to the lifestyle and loved it. I did love it, and then it was after a basketball game. Sat in the car. We're going back to England next week. That was it.
Oh, mate. And
we did. Straight
Were
back.
you absolutely devastated at the time?
I didn't really know what to think because I didn't know what gone on and stuff. So it was very quick that it happened. But as I say, trying to adjust from the lifestyle I was living, and then back to England, back to the northeast. It was so I found it very hard to fit in.
What's happening, guys? I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. If you are, please hit that like, hit the subscribe button, and press the notification bell so you don't miss another episode. You said there you went, when you got back to the UK, there was a bit of a reset that you had.
Yeah.
Was that because your parents had finished, or your stepdad and your mum had finished at the time?
Yeah. That was
why?
it. Just split up, yeah. So we came back.
Because I think, and the reason I asked that, Matty, is because for a young person, when you're accustomed to that lifestyle and you've got all the nice things in life and stuff, you don't really understand the value of money. Yeah. So when things all of a sudden become a bit tighter, and things aren't, the opportunity as a kid isn't there, it's almost like shit. Yeah. How did you adapt to that?
So at the age that I came back, I was just about realising the value of money, sort of thing. And in a way, I was glad because I didn't really get to see my dad much and stuff like that. And when I look back now, that must have been so hard for him to just lose me and see me twice a year from seeing me every week.
And did you have a good relationship with your dad?
Yeah. I still do now.
Brilliant.
But I look back now, And obviously, I'm not going to have the mindset then as I do now as a 10-year-old kid, but I'd have said no.
Yeah,
I'd have said no. Because, it wasn't too bad because I got to be with my mates again back in England and I got to see my family again regularly. So, I was fine with it.
I want to tap back into football, mate.
Yeah.
And this is not for football fans, but this is for... I'm actually interested in when you're getting trials for clubs like this. Where was the next stage? Was this? Did you actually think I could potentially make it here? Was it that serious, or was it a kid? I'm just going to a trial.
When I had a trial at Borough, I just started playing in goal, so I never ever expected to sign, and I didn't. But it gave me something to pursue. Now, when I set myself a target, I don't stop until I get physically stopped, sort of thing. But yeah, it was mad training with the first team keepers and not having a clue about technique or form or anything like that, or how things are done. And I learned a lot in them few days that I was there.
Doesn't it show you that people are just winging it, mate, in life? Like,
I was thinking that.
you wung that, right? Wung it, is wung a word?
Yeah.
But you wung that, right? But how many players now, even at Premiership level, have effectively been put into positions that they probably were never great at? They just needed someone at that time.
Do you know what? There was a lad there, who's he play for now? Burnley or Leeds, called Bailey Peacock Farrell. I don't know if you've heard of him. He was a left back when I went to Borough, and he ended up in goal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But in academy level, switching from a left back to a goalkeeper, I'm pretty certain that's what happened with him, and he's made it.
That's crazy.
That's mad, isn't it?
That's crazy.
So, but yeah, I was there for a few days, and obviously never played in goal before. I think it was because I was booting the ball the length of the pitch from the off, and obviously the amount of saves I made. It was just, and my height as well. I was 6'3" at 15.
They're gonna want a wall like you in goal, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
So my height was the main attraction for clubs, I think. But when I left there, it gave me the idea to pursue it and see what I could do with it. So I actually started playing in goal. Now, I didn't enjoy it. I much preferred playing it, but I knew I was good. And I got better and better and better. I think I played in the Northern League at 15.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. So I pursued that, played for a local team. And then one day, just your regular Sunday League game, there's a guy in a Newcastle tracksuit behind the goal. Crap myself, bottled it. Worst performance of my life. Stood right behind my goal, mate. I know it's not. Oh, mate, not a chance. Just like,
who was it?
Yeah, I don't know. Not a clue.
Okay.
But I knew he was watching me.
Yeah, of course.
He told the manager and stuff after the game. So, yeah, that happened. And I started getting like one-to-one training as well as playing like Sunday League and stuff like that. And Darby County came.
Right.
And offered me a trial. No, sorry, no. Peterborough United. Very south from where I came from. So, and again, like, when I told my mates about it in school and people, they were just like, nah, because I don't play in the school team and stuff like that. And there was another keeper getting picked ahead of me.
It's crazy,
isn't it? Yeah.
Do you, when you're that age, because I've never had that opportunity in a sport, right? Did you feel like you were gonna make it though, like you were destined to make it, regardless if it was Borough or Peterborough or Derby, whoever it was?
So when I look back now, I'm not sure. I don't think so, because it was very much released very quickly. Oh, this club wants us to look at you. No, not good enough. And it was kind of the same cycle. Yeah. So I went to Peterborough. That was maybe half a year later, and I've been tracked better at Sunday League clubs.
Right. Okay, I see.
Yeah. I remember, 15-year-old kid walked into the changing room when I got there, and I was sat there for 3 hours on my own, no direction, nothing, and then sprained my wrist 2 hours into it. So I was done, and then that was it. So left there, but to be honest, I was kind of glad because I didn't like it at all.
It's
didn't
funny
feel
you say
welcome at all, mate.
It's funny you say that, you know, Matty, because I've actually worked for different football clubs.
Yeah.
I've worked for Premier League football clubs, worked in the Championship, I've worked for different clubs, and I was very surprised the treatment I got from certain clubs to the other, even on a level basis. It's
people don't realise.
I'm not going to mention the clubs, but yeah, it was a case of fucking hell, mate. It is such an unbelievable, and you think if this is what's happening at staff level, I can't even imagine what's happening at player level.
Yeah, especially youth level as well.
Exactly.
It's ruthless. So I think another half a year passed, and then Derby County.
What happened with that?
Offered me a trial. So and that was amazing. I loved it, and I performed then to my best of my ability. It was the best I could give. Got treated very well. Everyone was lovely, and the day I went in was, like decision day for the youth players. And seeing like the captain of the youth team being released and stuff just like that, just out of nowhere, and he just walked off, didn't even look at anyone, didn't even say bye, just fuming. But it is ruthless.
Yeah, that's it, like, isn't it?
Yeah, that was when Steve McLaren was at Derby. I loved that. The training facilities were wicked as well at the time. Not sure what they're like now. Yeah, I really loved that. But that was my best, and it still wasn't enough at that point.
So is that when you kind of realised? Do you think at that point?
I didn't give up. I didn't give up. No. So I kept going. Say I played Northern League and stuff like that. And when I was about 16, 17, I was involved in a car accident, which kept me out for about 7 or 8 months in the end. And I just could not get back to what I was. I just couldn't do it.
I know you mentioned that, Matty, about when we were in the gym.
Yeah.
I mentioned the car accident. But again, for people who who don't know you, how bad was that? Was that because I know you've been out for a period of months?
Yeah,
and stuff, but
you look at photos of the car and it's like it's just completely crushed. When I saw it, like my family just can't even look at it to this day. And the doctor said that I was lucky to be alive. Yeah, I got airlifted that day, and I did struggle to walk for a couple of weeks, and that's it. I remember having like this Zimmer frame in like one of them aprons, like all my sanity's gone here, dignity totally gone. People helping me trying to walk, and like my bladder wasn't working and stuff like that, and I think I had a punctured lung as well.
Fucking hell, man.
And lots of other different things. So yeah, that is a massive wake up call as well to how careful to be and not to take risks and be stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Did you feel a sense of you've got to be grateful? Because again, a lot of people have had them experiences.
Oh, mate, yeah. Sometimes I still have like dreams, nightmares about it to this day. No.
Do you really?
Yeah. I'm over it. I can talk about it fine. And some of them suffered worse than I did in that crash.
Was there more than just you in the snow?
Yeah, I wasn't driving. Driving, no. But I won't speak about them too much, sort of thing. So,
yeah, of course.
And that is what led me to the gym, mate. And I forgot football.
That's mad, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the reason, though? Is it literally you'd been out for a period of time? Because normally you'd find, especially for a young lad, mate, you've had heat on you. You've had experience that other kids will never get their experience, especially in their passions. Why leave football?
I mean, I never signed for a club long term. It was like I was always in and out of these clubs and stuff, and it was starting to get a bit annoying.
So you kind of made a decision not to keep letting yourself down type of thing? Or to keep getting let down?
I'm not someone that gives up, but I lost interest. And I said I didn't like playing as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So I want to go back outfield again. So I still continue to play for like Sunday League again, and I actually enjoyed that more than playing in goal. And there was times when the other team would get a penalty, and I'd be playing up front, and the manager would put me in goal. I'd save the penalty. That happened a couple of times, yeah. And I used to score a few times playing in goal as well. Mate, I used to run up in the 30th minute for a corner because I was so big, and then you used to dunk it on my head and run back. Genuinely, mate.
I can't imagine it happening.
Not last minute or anything like that. It was, but yeah. No, I lost interest. And as soon as I started picking up weights, mate, that was it.
You know, mate, I've heard that a lot, like, as soon as people get introduced to the gym, they kind of leave the other pursuits. Like, it done something to me, mate. So I can only imagine what it'd be like you're pursuing a sport. It's almost like it's like having an addiction, innit?
Yeah.
You kind of replace it with something else. Because obviously you've went on to competing and all sorts, haven't you?
Bodybuilders will know exactly what I mean by that addiction, and people who aren't won't have a clue. Because I think I couldn't be arsed doing that all the time and training 6 times a week, and there's a life, like I remember when I really got into it, my family actually sat me down and said, "You sure this is what you want to do?" Like,
really?
Yeah. But if they don't understand, you kind of get it. Like I look now, and ever since I stopped bodybuilding, I couldn't think about worse.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Did you have how did you find it when you first picked up weights? Was it like it's a bit fucking boring this, or was it an instant
Obviously,
love?
so when I left school, I went to college, and I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do, mate. And my focus when I left school was still kind of on football. And the thing that I went to Redcar College, and the thing that dragged me there was the fact this football development program thing they had. It wasn't big time or anything like that, but the team we had was mega.
Yeah.
We got to the final of national cups and stuff. Yeah, so
Bloody hell. Something going.
so that seeing you can train 3 or 4 times a week and you go and play, I was like, yeah, that'll do. Had no interest in really doing anything else. But I did do my personal training courses and stuff. So from doing my rehab from the crash, getting into a gym, sort of discovering weights and doing the PT course, it helped me learn how to do things properly to an extent.
Did you do the PT course though because you loved it, or was it a case of I need to do something?
Interested.
Were you not?
No, I thought I'm never going to use this.
Aye.
Wasn't bothered.
I'm the same. Like I did my level 2 and 3, mate, and I just think I just wanted it for the sake of getting it more than anything else.
Honestly, I didn't care at all. The teachers probably realised that as well at the time, but from that class, I'm the one who used it the most in the end.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it, mate? I
Never ever expected it.
I know that. I want to ask you something, and this is from my curiosity, mate. I'm 5'11". I call myself 5'11", mate. I'm 5'10". What are you, 6'6"?
6'6".
And you were 6'3" at 15?
6'3", 6'4", yeah, 15. Did
that ever go against you? Because I know as you get older, mate, I mean, a lot of girls like tall lads. A lot, there's all that type of stuff. But when you got to that age, was it a bit like... Because I know certain lads who I was in school with, and they got up... Like, they actually got bullied a little bit because they were big, which is mad, because it's like they could flatten half the lads in there.
So you often hear, like, people go for the biggest one first in clubs and stuff like that. But I don't know if I want to use the word bullied. Picked on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go as far as bullying. No, do you know what? Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, I would say so. So, like, when I said I struggled to fit in at school and stuff. I don't know if you look at me now, it doesn't bother me in the slightest now. I've got a slight lazy eye. Can you see it? That got picked up on by mainly people in the year above me, and they used to shout all sorts at me, mate. Tortured me. Absolute torture me. Maybe 5 months after I started back at the school I came back to.
Brutal at that age and all, mate.
It got to a point where I didn't even turn up to some of my exams.
Really?
Once when my mum was on holiday, I was staying at a mate's house and she was dropping me off at school. Just walk home.
Bloody hell.
Didn't want to go. Yeah.
How did you get out of that situation? How did they stop? Did you give them a good idea?
Yeah, it went on for a year and a bit, shouting stuff about the lazy eye that I've got. I mean, it's not brutal, but it's ever since then it's become a massive insecurity for me. It did. I don't care anymore. Don't care. So hence me talking about it. It doesn't bother me. But at the time, like I really struggled, really struggled, and it never felt like I fit in with the people at school and stuff. Obviously, I had my mates and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. Of
course.
But I tried to never let it show. I never used to react. Yeah. Which I wish I did earlier. And I couldn't be any less scared of any of them now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it wouldn't bother me in the slightest. But at the time, I never used to react. And I got beaten up a couple of times as well.
Matty, can I ask, the lazy eye thing, right? While we're on the topic, were you bothered about this before the bullying started?
I didn't even realise it.
Right, okay.
Until stuff was being shouted at me, then you go and look at the mirror at home and you think, oh God, I can see that now. And it made me so insecure for photos to this day, which sounds mad because of what I'm doing now, and that's kind of, I've been forced into the cameras, so I didn't have a choice. Mate, it's helped me get over it massively.
I want to say, like, well done on you, like, because fuck them idiots, because, mate, like, we need... the world needs people like you who've got them legit, mate. I mean this, mate, totally. I'm saying this for me, not because I say it at the fucking podcast. If you've got something like an imperfection or something, I mean, is it an imperfection?
We've all got them, haven't we?
Of course we
have.
All got them. And to not only get over it, but actually go on to fucking national TV every fucking week.
Don't get me wrong, I was petrified at first. I didn't let it off.
How did you get over it?
I reacted in
Did
the
you?
end. Yeah, I was at a house party. Your typical after school house parties. I don't know what I was doing. He said what he said, and I just pinned him up against the wall and did what I did. Never happened again. From anyone, mate. From no one. Didn't happen again.
See?
And I thought, that was easy. Now I could have gone in a bad direction from there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've met a lot of people who have.
It's funny because what's even mad about that story, not that particular story, but the whole getting picked on for the eye thing, is the fact that you're obviously fit, you're tall, you can obviously handle yourself.
I was very skinny back then.
Yeah, but still though, you were fit because you were playing a lot of sport and stuff like that. So it wasn't like they were picking on the fat kid who couldn't really move much. You know what I mean?
I don't even know what it was.
Yeah,
I'd love to know what the
fuck. Have you seen anyone since who used to say
the years after in nightclubs and stuff, and you know what they say? How'd you get so big, Matty? You look mint now, you. And I'm just like,
that's class. Fuck off. I love that shit. Oh, that's unbelievable.
Honestly,
that's unbelievable.
Me and my mates laugh about it. Sometimes still, even now. Them very same people, some of them, when I've seen them in the past like 5 years, normally on nights out, how'd you do this? What's it take to do that?
I think you'll get to a point where you'll probably get people messaging you as well.
I don't
similar things.
I don't look badly back on any of them people, and if they watch this, know exactly who they are. They'll know.
Of course they'll know.
This,
you know, if you've done something bad, you know, regardless.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
We've all made mistakes and stuff. When kids are harsh, mate.
Yeah,
kids are so harsh. I think it's even worse now than it was back then. But mate, when I say I struggled to fit in, that was a massive, massive factor for me. I tried to not let it off, but I wish I'd reacted so much sooner than I did.
I want to jump into the bodybuilding a bit more. And I know that you went on to competing and stuff like that. People who've competed and been at that level of leanness and had to diet right down and stuff like that. Like I've never done it, but I know a lot about it. A lot of my clients are bodybuilders. But when you get to that point, is it a bit of a fuck you to those people in school where you want to look insane? Because let's face it, when you're on stage in peak condition, you look fucking unbelievable. So 6'6", lean. Yeah. Fucking can't even imagine. Yeah. So is it a bit of that, or is this a personal thing for you? Was it not
personal?
Was it?
I just love doing it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a fuck you to anyone, to be honest. I just it's what I wanted to do, and I got addicted, mate. I didn't even think of anything else, to be honest. My family suffered for it. Relationships have suffered for it because I was just so tunnel vision to. I was like, I want a pro card. Like 18, I was like, I want this pro card, and it's just a bit of paper. Yeah, I look back now. I was totally addicted to it, mate.
It's crazy how in terms of that, right? When you're stepping on stage and you're doing those things, and for a lot of people out there, you have bodybuilded competitively. How far do you go in terms of in your mind? Like, how dark does it get? Because you hear all the stories.
It's dark. It gets dark. Well, some cope better than others.
For you though, what was it like?
My first prep was horrendous. I didn't have I had a coach. The first coach. I'm not going to mention names. It didn't respond to me. You know, you send check-ins and stuff every week. Towards, I think, they call it peak week. Didn't respond for 3 days, and I'm all over the shop, mate. At this point, panicking,
literally starving.
Or first prep.
Yeah.
So not very experienced. Didn't really know what I was doing. And I was about to pull out of it about the day before. I was like, can't do it. But friends convinced me, and I got up and I loved it on stage. I loved it. Didn't win, but yeah, I really loved it. And then I really went for it after that. And I got a new coach after that called Peter Hill, known as Hilly.
Yeah. I know
he is. Yeah. He was amazing, mate. He looked after me for 3 or 4 years, and this is mad. When we first started, he sent me a picture of Jamie Johal, giant.
Yeah.
and said if you push it and you work very hard, you can have a similar structure and look to him in 5 to 10 years.
Fucking look. In that mad.
Yeah.
What that's class that.
So I looked at that, I was like, oh my God. Like, you've seen Jamie, right?
Yeah,
Big dude. Still is now. And I just worked towards that. And another lad, Josh Malley, looked at him as well, because these guys are tall as well.
Yeah,
like Jamie at the time was the tallest pro in the world,
Yeah.
6'5", and I was 6'6". I'm like, I want to be the tallest in the world. Like that was like,
It's
that's
funny
a cool,
that though,
cool thing to have. If you,
yeah, but what's funny about that, Matty, is it's not really a favourable like height for bodybuilding, is it? Like tall bodybuilders are not really. They don't really do now.
That's
so like,
the thing. I think that's a big standout thing for the likes of me, Jamie, and Josh Malley, people like that. Is there's no tall bodybuilders, mate. Like, well, it's very rare, and you look at the Olympia stage and stuff like that, and the guys look ginormous, but half of them are about 5'6", 5'7".
yeah, that's right.
The majority are under 6 foot.
Yeah. Mate, I met Phil Heath. I did some work with Gymshark a few months ago, and it's like, mate, he's tiny.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, I've met, like, when you meet Jay Cutler and like Sean Roden, who's passed away now. Like, these guys are all like 5'5", 5'6".
Crazy,
yeah,
like, isn't it?
It is. So
I know that we did a bit of content together, mate.
Yeah.
About a month or two ago. It was a while ago now. Yeah. But you mentioned experiencing body dysmorphia.
Yes.
And I want to go into that a little bit because, again, I feel like because you're a lad from the Northeast,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of people who will look up to you now when they see you on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
And even before that, when you see someone in the gym look a certain way, regardless if you're never going to be their height, you're never going to be their stamp, you're never going to be there, but you can take inspiration from. Even people like you who competed, got down to that level of body fat, did what you did, and have got on to where you've went on to. How bad does that get, and how dangerous is that slope to go on once you start getting in the bodybuilding?
It can be so dangerous mentally, and it's not something that's spoke about enough. I didn't know of it. You don't even know you're in it, to be honest. 'Cause it's like, basically what it is you look in the mirror, and you think you look totally different to how you actually are. Like, people used to say, I'm massive, I'm huge, blah, blah. But when I look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm not big enough. And now I think any competitive bodybuilder, pro or amateur, has got a bit of body dysmorphia, some more than others. I was horrendous for it, especially early on.
And what did you think? Did you think you were too small?
Yeah. Just wanted to keep adding size. But I look back now I've stopped, and I look back at the photos, I'm like, bloody hell.
Because you're a lot smaller now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm 30 pound less than I used to walk around at. I'm still a big guy now, but compared to then, it's totally different. My whole perspective, of looking at bodybuilding and the image that I was, and I'm like, why was I worried? But that's easy for me to say now.
What were your biggest worries? Other than your size?
That my competitors would look better than me.
Yeah.
And it's not healthy, mate. It's not healthy having that mindset. Well, like, I was big, but it's just that worry.
See, because for me, I would say that could be just a competitive mindset. I know you mentioned that you never even would wear a stringer in a gym or a vest.
No.
That's the worry.
It was funny, yeah, that's when it was my worst. Mate, you saw me today, I was in a massive oversized t-shirt.
So it still carries you a little bit, doesn't it? To a degree, no.
I still like to wear them.
Yeah, of course.
But then, so after I stepped off stage for the first time, during that first prep that I did, I wore vests. It was fine. I got off stage the first time and I didn't wear one for 4 years. Do
you think that's because you didn't win? And you thought,
no, do you know, it's not even that, because I was really happy, especially with the ball ache that the prep was, and overeating sometimes. I think we've all done that one. It wasn't even that. No. I don't know what it was, but something just like flicked in my mind, switched, and yeah, I can't put my finger on it, but I just wanted to stay covered up. I think a part of it was to show how much I could gain and progress from one show to the other. I think that was something to do with it, but majority was a big issue with body dysmorphia.
There's a lot of people who will listen or watch this and understand that, you know, like they could be going through something like that.
It's not just bodybuilders, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's
thousands of people suffer from it. But I think if you're not sure about bodybuilding or the sport itself, you would look at it and think everyone would be buzzing with the physiques. It's definitely worse in that sport.
How can someone get over it?
I don't know how I got over it.
Right, okay.
I think I look back at the photos now and I think, I actually looked amazing.
Yeah.
That's not to sound big-headed, but
I get that.
Let me rephrase. I was very pleased with my physique and how I'd progressed, sort of thing. And I still hold as much as I can now. But as I say, being in front of these huge cameras now, you're forced to get over it.
Mate, it's funny because, so I think you'll have seen it, mate. I put something on my story the other day. I was training arms in my garage, mate. Probably bringing the old garage sessions back. And
COVID vibes.
Mate, and someone turns out and they were like, "Fucking hell, mate! Like putting a bit of size on." I was like, "Mate, I'm fucking trying. I'm fucking overeating."
So do you think that? Do you have any?
I thought I looked horrendous.
Yeah.
When I look at it in comparison to what I want to look like, I was happy. Yeah. I was happy with it because that's why I put it out.
You're never satisfied.
But one of the guys were like, because he was like, "Would you be comfortable now to take your top off and go for a run along the beach?" I was like, "Would I?"
I wouldn't. No.
He went, mate. He went because I've trained for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
He was like, "You'll still look better than a lot of people who." Anyway.
That's the thing, mate. It's like
but it's very hard to see that, isn't it?
When you're in, especially Ultraflex, there's a lot of bodybuilders that train there, mate, and it's different to your commercial gym.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm in there. He actually said to us, he went, "Ads, you film bodybuilders for a living. You are literally in the worst job possible if you want to be self-conscious about the way you look. I'm ultimately surrounded by people who've got millions of followers for how they look.
Yeah.
Majority. So, like, if I'm ever going to beat myself up about how I look, I can quit my job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's class and I understand it and I don't struggle with it. I just sometimes think, fucking hell, like, I wish I looked better.
Yeah.
What end of the spectrum that is, I really don't know, mate. But obviously with you, it's your image again, and people can look at this as a fickle thing, and people can look at this as a good thing. You know, whether it's genetics, the fact that you just train hard, you work out.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it led you to getting the call to being a gladiator, mate. 2024, unfucking believable. The show hasn't been out for 20 years or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And obviously now you're picked to go on the show. And I need to talk about this because there's a load of people, mate, who I know would be like, I'd love to fucking watch. I mean, I remember, I'm 34.
Yeah.
Right? I actually remember Wolf and all them from years. When I see a kid walking around my gym who's now a gladiator, I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? So tell people.
Yeah, I'm still asking myself the same thing.
So how did that come about? How did you become a gladiator?
So, at the time, I'd finished a show in 2022, and it was my first disappointment result. And my tunnel vision went tenfold, mate. I was like, that's never happening again. Took a bit of time to reset myself, spend time with family and friends and stuff like that. And I think, when did I compete? About September time, I think. Mm-hmm. And this is where I experienced mental health for the first time at this point, not through school, being bullied or whatever. I had some very dark times towards the end of 2022. And fast forward a year from then, mate, total different story.
How dark are you talking?
Suicidal.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Do you know what was causing that? Lack of direction?
Yeah, I think so. Like, when you work, like Tyson Fury says it, when he won the world title, he didn't have a clue what to do with himself. Now, I never won a world title, obviously. But I went through I had a difficult year, 2022, and the prep was difficult, and I had to keep going. Like, it kind of, in a way, it distracted me from the bad things that were happening. But that last prep I did was the hardest one I'd ever done by a mile, and I looked my best and got the worst result. So it wasn't because of that; it was because of other things. I don't know what slipped into it, but I had a break thinking, yeah, I'm going to reset, chill out. And I don't even know what happened, mate. Just very, very dark. Didn't even want to be here at times. Now, this was 4 months before getting a call for Gladiators.
How does that come about though? Because it's a lovely story, that, mate. It is. Like, you've gone from literally wanting to do yourself in to getting a call to be on national TV every week for 3-4 months, whatever it is.
In a way, mate, it saved me, I think, because I absolutely zero direction.
It definitely saved you.
Yeah, the other thing was the gym I was at shut down about 3 days before I got a call. So I lost my job as well.
Fucking hell.
So the timing was impeccable.
You were PTing at the time.
Yeah. So I did work there, and then I quit because the owners were maniacs.
How did the call go?
So where was I? I was on the way back from Ultraflex, I think, with a friend, and I got a call. No, I got an Instagram message. Now, because of my age, I didn't know what the show was. Funnily enough, I feel like everyone else knew, mate. Say I'm just turned 27 now, so it was just before my time, and I read it and ignored it. I was like, that's a scam. Ignored it. I think the day went by, got another one. Ignored that. And then they started messaging my friends and family saying, can you please get Matty's attention? We want to speak to him about a show called Gladiators. So I rang my mum, I was like, you heard of Gladiator? And she went, oh my God. Like buzzing. Like, no way, that used to be one of the biggest shows but it was the biggest show in the 90s on British television. So from there, obviously I spoke to them, and I had my first ever Zoom call, mate. Cameras on me, because at this point it might sound crazy, right? But I hate it being on camera, have my photo took, because of the insecurity I had from
of course, I understand
from the school thing, and it in a way it does still affect me to this day. Like even my girlfriend, like when we get a photo, sometimes I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, do it again.
Yeah. Or
she knows that, she knows why as well. Yeah, I'm like, do it again, don't like it. So it does still affect me a little bit now, but being on that Zoom call, not being really on camera before, it was mad. And I've got these producers sat in front of me, and from there, obviously, we spoke and stuff for the first time, and then I went up to Edinburgh, and I got put through a series of physical tests to see what I'm made of, basically, and ended up being good news in the end. But it was a long wait to find out.
Mate, what I want to ask you here is because, again, for people who aren't familiar with Gladiators or they're familiar with the YouTube scene, you've got the likes of Matt Does Fitness, who is a gladiator on the Legend, I believe he's called. Yeah. You're 27-year-old, you're steeped in the fitness industry, you've PT'd, you've been around the gym, you've competitive bodybuild. There's a good chance you'll have known who Matt Does Fitness was.
I didn't follow him.
Had you seen him on YouTube?
Yeah. I knew who he was.
So how was that, meeting people like him? Thinking,
do you know what?
Like, these are, because someone like a Matt Does Fitness is a pioneer.
I never actually met him until the filming.
Right.
Properly.
Okay.
It was the one I knew the most was Jamie.
Yeah, of course.
Because I'd followed his bodybuilding career and stuff, and then to then be working with him was a bit mad at first. But you discover all these people are human, mate. We're all the same, but we all get on so well. It's crazy, actually, because when you put 16 people together, you wouldn't think that we'd all get on so well, but we do. Every single one of us has clicked.
Do you know what I've been doing?
What?
Here's a little secret for you.
Go on then.
So when you told us the crack, I've been looking at your following, and I've just been looking as it's been not every day, but every couple of weeks. I've been like, right, let's see if people are tuning in, and I want to know if it correlates from that to that. It definitely does.
Not to the extent of other shows though, because
of course.
The persona is different. It's not actually me. I'm a character, right? And I'm a part of a show, and there's 16 of us. So really, it's the show you've got to look at, and obviously it's been unbelievable.
Obviously, I don't know if you're getting recognised now, but well, I know actually off air you did say that you've been
Yeah.
recognised in a few different locations and stuff. How does that feel for a guy who has had, you know, self-conscious issues and stuff in the past, and how does that feel now to be pointed out? Oh, there's the guy off the telly.
At first you think it's negative because it's never happened before. You're like, why are they pointing at me? But when you look at it for what it is, you get used to it a little bit. Like, it's mad because like me, Matty, has not blown up, but so therefore I don't expect to get recognised. But wherever I go now, kids made mad. It's I'll never get used to that because I hardly know who we are. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's a brand new show and they love it. They're going wild for it. And say like I walked around Teesside Park the other day and
It's fucking mad, isn't it?
It's weird, mate.
Mate,
yeah,
you know what? And I want to use this video as a timestamp, right? Because whenever this does get aired, your life is gonna change. And you know what I love to see, mate? I love to see another kid from the northeast fucking smashing it, mate.
Not much happens around here, does it?
Nah, it doesn't, mate.
No.
It doesn't.
And do you know what? It's like, it's better than, for me personally, doing something like this instead of like a Love Island or anything like that. Not that I'd go on Love Island.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course I do. You know why positive. I know? And it's obviously it's not that I'm not on TV as such, but I've had certain experiences where I was supposed to be on TV, and in my own, you know, I've never pursued them things. But one part of my career, mate, with the content PT business, I filmed ringside Floyd Mayweather. And I remember thinking after that, how the fuck am I meant to go back to the northeast now and just film PTs?
Yeah. So I
was mind blown, mate.
Yeah. So after the filming, I went back to my flat in Middlesbrough.
Unbelievable.
The come down was horrendous, mate. It took about 2 weeks. I was like, I just want to go back because.
Do you watch it yourself?
Do I?
Do you watch Glads? Like, do you watch you on TV?
Of course I do. Imagine if I didn't.
I don't know. Like, I thought you were going to give us the humble fucking. Nah, I don't know. You do you?
Yeah.
But you fucking love it, do you? Is it now?
I do. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I spoke about them insecurities before?
Yeah.
I'm not bothered now.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm not bothered. It does not affect me in the slightest.
Love that.
And no matter what someone says, like, I feel like words will not affect me anymore.
The future for you, Matty. What do you want to happen?
Mate, I'd love to do what I'm doing for as long as I can because I love doing it as well. It's mad because I don't know, and obviously there's different opportunities that I know are coming my way and stuff. And when I look back on, say, like I mentioned before, a year ago, I'd never ever expect that, and it is the unknown. But I will do what I can to take advantage of that, and who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
Matty, you've been an absolute
wicked, mate.
Diamond, mate. Legend. Thank you, bro.
Nice
Thank
one.
You, mate. Cheers,
nice
Thank
one.
you, mate.